What's up, Wealth Builders? Today, I've got a guy who had 14 Airbnbs, and pretty much all of them got shut down overnight. And so today we're going to hear about what do you do when that happens, because a lot of people watching the show have been through something similar with owning rental properties or Airbnb or even a business where something just changes overnight. I've got my guy, Ivan Tejeda on. What's up, man?
Going on. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. A lot to catch up.
We got twins in the house today.
Two bald guys.
Let's go.
Bald and beautiful, baby.
Bald and beautiful.
Bald and beautiful.
Tell them.
It's funny because they keep comparing. Are you guys brothers? You guys related?
Yeah.
Every time we're like
both handsome.
Yeah.
Both tall.
There we go.
Bald.
Hispanic.
One is tall.
I'm
one is-
pretty tall.
You know, for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Hispanic. So, bro, I mean, I've known you for a while now, and we'll kind of get into what we're doing together now, which is awesome.
Mhm.
But dude, you were doing the Airbnb arbitrage thing for a minute and making good money.
Yeah.
And it got shut down overnight.
Yeah. Seemingly overnight for sure. It had a really good run. So I was doing arbitrage, and usually in arbitrage, you last maybe a year, whatever your lease term
Yeah.
is. But dude, I was in these properties for 7 years up until
Wow.
recently. So I was like,
You're the best tenant ever.
literally, I was literally the best. And we'll get to
Yeah.
what happens when you're the best tenant. But yeah, I rode that wave, and I already felt like I didn't want to do arbitrage, but I wasn't going to be the one to shut down a stream of income that was decent, right? Like we were making for the apartments that were studio, 1-bedroom apartment, we were netting $1,000 per door.
Right.
So all the furniture was paid off. I didn't have to worry about fixing anything because the community, it was in apartment buildings. They're all getting fixed. So
You're making $7,000 a month net off these arbitrage for
off of
7
just
years.
that one building. And then the building right across from it's another 6 or 7 there. 6 it was. And so, yeah, I was making more than 10K on just these arbitrage deals.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to shut it off. I was going to wait till they kick me out.
Yeah.
I was going to ride that thing to the ground.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, recently they changed ownership. It was owned originally by Bank of America, I think, that building. And we had gone through different management companies that have in and out, come out. And I would have to reintroduce myself. Hey, look at my history. I'm paying on time. I'm like,
I'm the arbitrage guy.
I'm the guy that you want to keep here. But so we went through a couple management companies that took over that building. And just recently, the reason why we got shut down technically in that last building was because it got bought out by a different company. And they were like, wait, you guys are doing Airbnb here? No, you're out. So they gave me like a 60-day notice or so. And I'm like, okay, cool. I've been kind of waiting for this. Obviously, I'm bummed because now it's 10 plus K.
He's lost a source of income.
Yeah. And at the time was my main source of income too.
Yeah.
Because I was doing all these other things, a roofing company and all these different things that we'll maybe get into. But I felt it. But at the same time, I was like, dude, I'm blessed the fact that I was able to ride this 7 times longer than most people do.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, in a way, a weight was off my shoulders because I was already leaning on just the regular Airbnbs, amenity heavy, which we have a property that's crushing, especially now leading into the summer. So I wanted to lean into more of that because I always said, even when we were coaching, I always said like arbitrage is just a way to get your foot in the door, get acquainted without having to put up all this capital up front. So I always was an advocate of just moving on and buying. That's how you build real wealth. And I know you guys feel the same about that. So yeah, we got shut down. I ended up like, I felt to gift the furniture that was in each one of those properties to families in need. So I had a local person, blast it on their social media that they were like, underprivileged. They had that audience. And sure enough, there were 7 U-Hauls on the day of, and 7 different families got to take that furniture. And then, I felt, a relief. And then literally yesterday, this happened maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, not even a month or and a half ago. And yesterday I got a call from the manager that was recently there. And then she said, hey, are you still doing Airbnb or are you like done with it? Because she knew that most of our units were in the property. And she's like, yeah, I'm contacting you like off the record because I think that ownership wants to bring you back. And she was like, yeah, you guys shouldn't have let him leave to begin with. You had 7 units. He was paying on time. He was like the perfect tenant. You don't have to worry about anything. He's taking care of the properties more than anybody else because his, business depends on it. Like I'm making sure the walls are clean, the carpet is clean. Like there's no other tenant like that. And we really didn't have much issues. Hence the reason why we lasted that long. So she literally called me yesterday. I called my wife right away. I'm like, can you believe this? We just gave away all this furniture. And I'm like,
Gotta call those families back.
so long story short, I'm like,
Indian giver.
yeah, like, hey, can I get that stuff back? I get you. Like, I'll give you some money. But no, the truth is that I said it would have to be a really sweet deal for me to go back in. Like, I want
You guys got to buy my furniture.
yeah, like, not buy my furniture, but I would ask for 5 months free. I would ask for a term of a lease that's 5 years long. Like, I don't want to have to go through that again.
Yeah.
That's the only way I'll entertain it. Because now with all the things that I have going on, that we have going on, it's like, I don't want that to kind of like take away from what we're building already. And, you know, that chapter may or may not be closed with the arbitrage side. But the Airbnb stuff is something I'm in it for the long game.
Yeah, you have the one cool property.
Yeah, the Pickle Pad is what we call it. It's a pickleball property, but it has pickleball pool, putting green. It has like a loft for the kids to play in Charlotte.
Yeah.
So that's what more I want to be doing. But I mean, if the opportunity comes, it's literally like plug and play for arbitrage too.
That's your only one?
Yeah. And then I long-term leased my other one that was in an HOA. And they finally also said, hey, you can't do Airbnbs anymore. So I long-term lease it now. Yeah.
Dang.
So cashed out refinance, took out that
How's
money.
the pickleball one do?
Well, in winter months, it's not that great. Better than most because we have like a heated pool, heated hot tub. We market around that. But right now, when the weather's getting good, like, dude, we're gonna have, like, last year we didn't even have that many amenities, and this time last year we finished this month with $16,000. And mind you, my mortgage there is like less than $1,400 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wait. You said that was 16,000 in a month?
in a month.
Dang.
Yeah.
Why'd you say it doesn't do that good?
No, last year, this time it crushed, but it doesn't do good in the winter months.
Got
So
it.
now that the weather
Yeah,
is
it's May
warm,
right now.
Yeah, now we have people booking for, $3,000 for 3 days.
How much does it make in the winter?
In the winter, it does, on average, we averaged out like 5 to 6 grand.
On a
which still
$1,400
profitable.
mortgage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're still profitable, 100%. But
The real money's in the summer.
yeah, the real money is, and we, because that was our first real month, like year, we just finishing technically our first full year. A lot of that money that we made, we reinvested back into the property and
For
adding
more amenities.
more amenities. So this year, coming into it, like, it's all going to be real profit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't
Excited
you
about
do that whole deal from just WealthCon and stuff?
Yeah. It's funny, dude. No, like, okay, so we had the coaching program.
Yeah.
So the person I bought that property from was seller finance property. She was one of the students for ProHost.
Yeah.
I bought the property from her. Originally, I had this vision. I was going to, fix it up and all of that, but I hadn't even flipped a home at that point yet. And I added a bathroom. I'm coming out of pocket for all of this. I'm paying for it. I'm like, oh crap, I ran out of money. Like, I need my money. I need my money out. So at that time, we didn't have any amenities. The backyard was standard grass backyard. We just added the bathroom, fixed up a couple of things. I'm like, dude, I'm going to just have to freaking sell this thing and get my money out. I can't keep my money in there. And then soon after that, we had WealthCon. And I came out to WealthCon. And I'm like, dude, my mission is going to be to find an investor that can see the vision for this property and that I had already laid out. And dude, I know I have all the numbers and all that. And then just pitch it to them and see if they would want to partner with me. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Met a physician. He paid for the diamond ticket. He paid like 10 grand to be in the room, right? And
Ivan's like, I'm going to the diamond room.
yeah,
Find my investor.
my audience, dude. You can see. So I mean, he got his money's worth for sure. So long story short, I pitched him the idea, everything, and the deal was that he was going to invest into the amenities that we would add, and then he would also technically make me whole again, in essence. So I have $0 into that property right now.
Mhm.
Obviously, I'm managing it and all of that. That's part of my deal, but I have zero money into that deal. And yeah, sure enough, we're a year into it. The property, we just got it appraised. I bought it for $350K. It's worth now $550. It's in a neighborhood that is getting gentrified, so it's not the ideal best neighborhood, but it's really close proximity to a really cool part in town. So yeah, that all happened through. So I got the deal itself from this community. I got the investor from this community, and the rest is history, man. It's crushing now.
That's great.
Yeah.
Davila, why could you never figure? I did good at Airbnb.
I suck at Airbnb.
He hates it.
I called him once. I was like, bro, look at my freaking listing.
Yeah.
He's like,
I told him what to do. He just doesn't want to put more money.
I just don't want to put more money.
Who else was in here? Was it Elefante?
Yeah.
He was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
He's
Do
like,
you know that guy, Elefante?
No, I don't think so.
He's a big
Maybe if I see
guru.
him.
He has like a golf course Airbnb and all this.
Oh,
crap.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if I see him, I'll know. But yeah, I told Brian like what's exactly what to do is just I could see if a property's already bleeding, it's hard to see the potential in it to invest more.
Well, you don't
so
want to
that it
like
could-
put good money after bad
Yeah.
money. You're just saying this thing's already
Yeah.
terrible. In today's real estate market, it is really difficult to find cash flow, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. For this reason, I'm a huge fan of wholesaling real estate right now specifically. It's the strategy that I'm using in my real estate investing business, and it's what all of our students at Wealthy Investor are doing as well. And we've built this entire new system where we give you everything you need to start your wholesaling business. You get the motivated seller leads, the same softwares, the same systems, processes, and one-on-one coaching and support. We'll show you step by step how you can get started today and get your first deal in 30 days or less. So go to wealthyinvestor.com today.
So what I'm doing, just so for the listeners, I have a prepayment penalty on it. And I think you told me like try to negotiate it off. So I contacted the bank and they just asked me to write a letter asking to take off the prepayment penalty.
Yep.
So if I do that, I'm still waiting for approval. I could sell it and not take as big of a loss.
Yeah.
Because I have a 5-point prepayment penalty.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
On like a 350 loan.
Yeah.
So like,
This
even
is-
if I lose like 20K, that's great. But to lose 50 is like tough.
Yeah.
They'll do it,
We'll see. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
bro. They'll do it.
The only way to
I
survive.
told you this last month.
Yeah.
The only way to
That's about
survive
to
an
happen.
Airbnb is
That'd be
if
sick.
you have a property that's not just a standard property. Like it has to have some amenities that you wouldn't have at home.
Yeah.
Like you have to be extra with Airbnb. Like the walls that you normally wouldn't paint color at your own place is what you need to do for Airbnb.
So are you going deeper in Airbnb now? Or are you going to buy more properties or what are you going to do?
So yeah, the goal is to make active income and then use that as a vehicle to like invest in for sure. But not like my main gig, how it's been for the last 7 years.
Dang.
That's not the goal anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, I just want to build wealth through that because I know that building a rental portfolio is something that I've been wanting to do. But since I already have the skill set of doing it through Airbnb, I'm gonna make way more money on cash flow and all that stuff from there too, and still obviously take advantage of the depreciation, tax benefits. But yeah, I mean, who knows though?
Do you still have your roofing company?
No.
You shut it down?
Yeah,
How did that go?
it went good. dude.
Brian's been thinking about roofing.
Yeah. Tell me about
We've
it.
talked a couple of times. We've talked about it a couple of times. Yeah.
Well, you guys are brothers.
Yeah, we think alike. No, so the roofing company was doing really well. It's just that dad built the current company. It just took off, and I needed to give it all the attention.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just got a lot of momentum online and stuff, so I needed to focus.
Before we get to dad built, like tell me about the roofing company. So
Yeah.
like what happened? So
I want to know.
were you doing
No,
this
so-
unpermitted or is this?
So we don't
you
need
know, black
permits
market
in
roofs?
North Carolina. We don't need permits technically unless the roof is.
Oh, you don't need permits.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't need permits unless the cost is above $40,000.
Oh, wow.
Which most roofs are not going to be. So we didn't need permits. So I was basically running a sales and marketing operation, and then I would subcontract the work. One of the things that kind of like, I don't know if I told you, but one of the subcontractors flooded one of my clients' homes, and we're actually going through that process right now. And funny enough, I reached out to Ryan. I'm like, dude, I know you've gone through a bunch of lawsuits in your life.
Yeah.
What the? I'm like
What's a lawsuit?
panicking and freaking out. and I'm like, dude, what the heck do I do? He's like, first of all, relax. It's going to take forever for this to actually play out and all that. So he gave me a lot of comfort that I needed in that moment. But
Nice.
that was one of those things. I mean, do I really want to go through that like liability of putting
Oh, bro,
the
you're
work
in the
into other
construction game.
Yeah.
people? Yeah,
It's
like
lawsuit city.
exactly. Like I don't know that I want to be in that, but the money's good. Like
Yeah, how was the money? Like tell me about the deal. Yeah.
Brian's like, I can deal with lawsuits.
Yeah. Lawsuit, small suit.
Yeah, I was doing.
Lawsuits, lawsuits.
Was the only way I could compete in that market. And I think when you're first starting in roofing, personally, is that you have to compete originally with price because you haven't made a name for yourself. If you're starting from scratch, like the perfect way that I was trying to do it, that I just didn't get around to, is just buy another roofing company from an older person trying
That's
to
what Brian
retire.
was thinking of.
Yeah,
too.
that's what I'm trying.
Yeah, I think that's the best way because you can leverage their Google, reviews, and you
Yeah.
can leverage all these things, and you're not a brand new kid on the block, and you don't have to prove yourself. You can still have a decent
Yeah.
price. But for me, I just started it from scratch because I couldn't find another, roofing company that was willing to sell. But we were doing, even though we were lowballing our our prices, mostly because I wanted to just get the reps in.
Mhm.
We were making 6 to 10 grand a roof.
Net?
Yeah, net. After
Not
paying
bad.
everything, yeah. And then I got lines of credit with ABC, which is the supplier for the shingles, and I got invited to conventions
What the
in
heck?
He
Nashville.
does one roof.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak? At
Yeah.
Oh no, but it was just like a workshop. I wasn't speaking. I was just
no.
that's an industry I like it because it's blue collar, it's not going away. AI, it's going to take a while for it to take over that. But if you're doing it right, like people will come to you. Like the vendors will try to win you over, and they'll wine and
How do
dine
they
you.
find you?
Well, through ABC, so the suppliers of where you buy the materials from, they'll say, "Hey, this person is new," and they'll invite. They came and brought me bunt cakes, and they brought me they'll literally try to wine and dine you,
Oh, I like this.
which felt nice. They flew me out to Nashville. We went to the Titans.
They
I think,
flew you out?
yeah,
Whoa.
to Titans stadium. They had a full on
heck?
workshop over there. We were throwing balls in the field.
What?
They took us out to dinner.
It's way better than wholesaling.
Yeah, but mind you,
Wholesaling, you get cursed out.
wine and dine.
Yeah.
But imagine
You get some perks with roofing. It has its pros and cons like anything else. But in reality, I think you would crush it with roofing, honestly.
How did you
I
do
told
the
you this.
marketing? How were you getting
Just
clients?
ads.
Just Facebook ads?
Yeah.
So you just ran Facebook ads and people would call
Yeah.
and then you would close them over the phone?
Yeah. Literally what you do.
What the hell?
Literally what you do.
How much were you paying per lead?
I think we were paying $100 a lead at one point.
Oh, bro, that's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
No permits, $100 a lead, bro?
Yeah. It's different here, right? Because the roofs here are different, right? You guys have
We
more
got
like
tile.
tiles.
Yeah.
So those last a lot longer, but and then permitting side, it may or may not be
I think you need permits for sure.
for sure. Yeah. But I know people in Florida that it's similar to here as far as the roofs go with tiles and all that. Mind you, they get hurricanes, so they get it more often, but it's doable. I'm sure there's people that are doing it here too. That
How did you learn to run ads?
I
Was
did
it just
I
you
hired
and
an
ads?
agency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is why I paid more probably for the ads.
Yeah.
Then at one point I was like, dude, I'm just gonna run these myself.
Yeah.
And then that's when everything else started to shift. So I didn't even get around to running them myself.
That's sick.
Yeah, but I think you would crush it.
That's a cool story.
Yeah,
You gonna do it?
I feel like that
just fire.
that sounds
Try to see if you
great.
can. Yeah,
The only thing I've always wondered is how could you make roofing reoccurring? Is there anything you could sell them?
yeah. So this is another thing that I wish I got to, but I was gonna create a reoccurring service where it was I bought the domain and everything, but it's basically a servicing for maintaining your roof, making sure that it's that you catch anything early, that you clearing it out. Because the number one enemy of shingles specifically, though, is moisture. So if you have leaves sitting there for too long, they're going to create moisture and it's going to decay your shingle. So basically creating a service that's very inexpensive and making that my low ticket offer. And then they pay for it or we give it to them for free for that first one. And then we upsell them once we're there for 3 months worth of servicing or every quarter or whatever. But that gives us the opportunity to get on the roof and then assess if there needs a repair or replacement.
Yeah.
And then you technically get a cheaper lead. So I'll put you down. I'll give you literally what I had put together.
Hell yeah.
So you can just make that a reoccurring thing and you get paid like a pest control at that point. Pest control.
That's the other business you
Yeah. It's like a blend of both, bro.
No, so basically it's the
I get
same
high ticket and low ticket.
Yeah. But you can keep that in roofing though. Like you can offer like that same service. Pest control, for instance, for us, we have someone come out every 3 months and you can have that same exact service for roofing. Every 3 months, have someone come out, make sure it's all good. There's no leaks. There's not debris up there. Clear out the gutters. People pay for that already.
What's the bad part about the business?
The liability. And if you're not going to build your own team in-house, like even if you build your own team in-house, it's still exposed to liability. But ideally, you build it as a true, roofing company, how we would, in order to scale, you need to just subcontract everything.
Yeah.
So you have to pay for insurance and all of that stuff, which I don't think you pay for right now, right? For wholesaling. No insurance. So yeah, there's more OpEx and liability exposure because now you're handing that off. But if you do it right, like you can shed a lot of that liability and put it on that subcontractor so that they're responsible if something happens.
Interesting.
So yeah.
So you're a hustler. All of us here are hustlers. We've all done lots of things. It's a competition to see who can,
Who can do
Who could
more?
do
I
a
think
new
you got
thing?
who
it.
can try and fail the most things. You know, you're doing Dad Built now,
Yeah.
and you know we got some cool stuff brewing with that. But like, before we get into how Dad Built came about, what are the other things you did and stopped and started, and just to give people context?
Yeah, so wholesaling was one of those things, and it's crazy because I was thinking about this. Like most of the things that I actually started did decent. Like if I
You
would,
just never saw them through.
it's like I either didn't feel motivated. I'm like I can't do this anymore. I don't see myself doing this long term. Like wholesale was one of those things where I was like I just didn't like it.
Yeah,
I didn't like the idea.
Yeah,
I didn't like the idea of trying to sell someone to sell me their house, to then try to sell someone to buy the house, to then have to renegotiate. But like it took many transactions
Yeah.
to be able to hopefully get paid at the end. So,
Yeah.
but I was crushing it. I made $26,000 in 2 transactions net,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So that was good. I literally still have like frames, the check from the closing company. But one of those things I'm like, okay, I just didn't like it. So wholesaling, what else? Coaching, right?
Yep.
That one was one of those things where it's like every coach nowadays is like they have to switch. You have to pivot. There's certain things like we crushed it. We did really well in coaching as well.
Mhm.
But I mean, I had a clothing line way back then in Miami when I was living in Miami, but I created that clothing line mostly to like fund the youth service and the youth community in my church. But dude, I've done so much, dude.
Were you an insurance agent?
I was in insurance. I was going to buy an Allstate agency. I was in insurance for 5 years
Yeah.
Mm.
before I started Airbnbs, and I lived in Miami. I helped the agent at the time that he had, like, I started as a salesperson and I worked my way up, and I was going to buy one of his agencies that I helped build from the ground up. I basically did everything. He just put
Yeah.
the money. But I managed salespeople. I did all of that. And the idea was that I was going to buy that because he was going to build it to sell, and I was going to buy it. And then I said, no, I'm leaving to Charlotte.
Why didn't you like it?
Um,
Brian's been thinking about insurance.
Yeah, I want to
too.
do that too.
yeah, dude, you want to do it? It's not that I didn't like it. I just felt like I didn't want to stay in Miami. And I technically, if I bought that agency, I probably still would have been in Miami by now.
Mm.
So it was a lifestyle thing.
It was a
It wasn't
lifestyle
even
thing.
insurance as a vehicle.
Yeah, it was a lifestyle thing. I would have had to be there 9 to 5, and that's never been my thing.
Were you making good money doing it?
You know, for a dude in his early 20s, yeah, I was making 65K,
Mm.
living at home still at that time. Well, then I got married, but still, I was making decent money.
Yeah.
And the insurance world is awesome too. But again, it's the lifestyle thing. Like I like to be able to, like I have breakfast with my kids every day. I can't do that. Like if I have an agency, I have to be there. And then of course you can build it. Like the agency owner of the agency that I was working at, he would come and go, and he had a manager, but then he had to like psychology and build dealing with people, which is another thing for me. Like I don't want to have that many team members.
Yeah.
Like I've been there, done that. It's like managing people and all that. It takes a toll
Yeah.
on you. And I'm sure you guys go through it on a daily basis. So
Ryan's going through it right now.
yeah, there you go. See? So it's one of those things where like, dude, the roofing company, I was building it legit so that, and one of the reasons why it attracted these big companies like Certainteed, which is one of the major distributors and producers of shingles and stuff, is I told them I'm trying to build this thing AI heavy. Like I want to have as little human interaction or intervention as possible
That's
and
cool.
build it that way. And then I'll only hire humans where it's absolutely necessary.
Interesting.
And that's how I was going to build it. And roofing companies sell for a lot. The idea was to build it and sell it.
How much revenue do you think you did total on your roofing?
You only
Dude,
did
so-
a few, I think, right?
Yeah, we only did like 4 roofs technically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But even in those 4, we did about 40K, 50K.
I commend you for trying a lot of things and then also identifying when you don't like it quick. Because it's not like you did anything and failed necessarily. Like other guys who try things, they just are like, oh, this thing, I can't even close a deal. I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
even get a sale. I can't even. I was like, well, bro, you suck. Like you need to actually develop your skills.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like all these things you've sold. You're like, oh yeah, I've done wholesale deals. I did roofing deals. I did Airbnb deals. I sold insurance. Like you've been able to always do it successfully, but then you identify, you're like, yeah, I don't think I want to do this for many years.
Yeah, like the wholesaling thing, I told myself I'm going to do this. I think I told you, is like, I'm going to do this for 6 months. I'm going to go, and anything that I do, I just go all out. Like, I don't want to live with the regret of not doing it. I want to give it its fighting chance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. So with wholesaling, like I started to spend $5K a month in ads, and I started doing all these things. I'm going to give this a fighting chance to be what it should be. And if I don't like it at the end, I'm cool with just pivoting, which is what happened. So
yeah,
you did social media too for a while, right?
Like content creation?
Yeah, content creation.
Yeah.
Didn't you make like a studio and stuff like that? Or?
Yeah. That's
I
another
forgot
thing.
about that one.
I forgot about that too.
Davila thought about doing that too.
Yeah. Social media, right?
Yeah.
Social media studio. But that was more so like, the studio was more so like an excuse to get my own office outside of my home office.
Yeah.
And just monetizing it so I didn't have to pay the rent for it.
Yeah.
But I ended up using it for my personal like use, and eventually like the studio business and having people come in and out and booking them and making it clean and all that. I'm like, this is a whole other business that I don't want to.
This fool tried to tell me that. And I'm like, bro, no.
Yeah.
He's like, well, yeah, you don't want to get my office paid for. I'm like, you're talking about $2,000. Like, what are we talking about here?
He was trying to do this too?
Yeah.
Right in the store.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro.
I still might do it.
I still might do it.
No, how it would work, if I were to do it today,
Okay.
I would just rent out the space for like TikTok shop creators.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what
You
Daniel's
have different
doing.
station. Who?
Daniel.
Oh, really?
Well, like for his own e-commerce thing that he's doing.
Yeah. But I mean, like, there's full on.
No, he's not renting it to other people.
Yeah, I mean, like renting it out to other people were kind of like the same model as a barbershop, where
Right.
each station has they pay a rent to be in that chair.
Oh,
Yeah,
Or the same scenario with the content
it's like
studio.
subleasing the office kind of.
Yeah, you
Got it.
subdivide it, you set it up,
That's
and then
cool.
that would be cool. That's because it's literal, involvement on your side. But if you have to literally book people and schedule them and make sure it looks nice for the next person and the
Yeah,
audio.
you just want a tenant who's just gonna always pay you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like these one-off shoots and crap.
No.
No.
Nah.
I'd have Felipe do it. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. But then you still have to manage Felipe to make sure
Yeah.
everything's good.
And then what's the upside?
bookings.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think the roofing sounds like the best out of everything so far.
Dude, honestly, if it wasn't because of Dad Bill, I'd probably be still doing that.
Okay.
Okay, so how did Dad build stuff?
Yeah. Oh, that's hard.
So Dad Bill, it's been in the making, at least in my mind, for years, dude. Like, not necessarily Dad Bill itself, like the concept of Dad Bill. The idea of encouraging dad and highlighting dads that are showing up and doing it the right way. And, I grew up without my biological father, and I know the importance that it is to have a present dad in the home and all these different things. And I grew up there being a very negative connotation to dads, and dads not showing up, and they pop in once in a while in your life. And that's how I grew up. And I'm like, okay, what if we were able to highlight or cast a light on the dads that are doing good so that it can offset that? Because the reality is that I looked up the stat. It's like 86% of men in prison grew up without a father figure.
Yeah.
Like, that's a staggering number.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And if you think about it, like the crimes, all the negative things that happen in our generations are because fathers didn't step up. Like, if you tie it all back, it all leads to there not being a strong father figure in that person's life. Women in promiscuity and all of these different things, all these girls that are in OnlyFans, and they probably didn't have a dad to tell them, hey, you're worth more.
Yeah.
You're worth more than what society tells you. So Dad Bill, the concept of it is like, okay, how do we honor the dads that are doing it so that other dads that are maybe not stepping up to the plate can see like, hey, it's cool. Like, you are literally shaping not only that child's life, but like legit a generation.
Yeah.
So I pride myself in being a great dad. I pride myself in being there for my kids. I pride myself in being a good husband so that my wife can be, a present mom and all of that stuff. So that's kind of where it all began. And then
You just wanted a way to honor dads.
yeah,
It wasn't a hat thing.
It wasn't a hat
It was
thing.
just like,
right.
there's a problem.
To this
Dads
day,
aren't
like, I don't
peasants.
consider us to be a hat company, technically. It just happens to be the product. But like, and it's funny because even in our websites and everywhere, it's like, it's just a reminder, like where the reminder is the call to action, where the reminder that you are built for this. You're built to lead, that you're built to love, which is our slogan, built to lead, built to love. And tomorrow it could be freaking water bottles. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you identify with? That's where it all started. But the hats themselves, like, I'm always wearing hats. I'm bald, so I have to. I have to protect the dome. So
Davila never wears
I never wear a
hats.
hat.
I don't know why, dude. The hats are fire. We need to get you on some dad built stuff. But that's one thing that I personally would use. I created it for myself. We created the logo. And I was like, dude, this is actually cool. Like, I want to wear something. Kind of like Hormozy, how he always wears his thing. Like, I want to be able to wear something that's mine.
Yeah.
Versus
Mhm.
somebody else's stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it stemmed from. And then 6 months ago, which was the last WealthCon, right? Was it 6 months ago? Yeah.
Right
we had a Ryan was gracious enough to allow us to have a booth there. And that was the time where I was like, okay, we already have a couple of designs. We already internally, gotten some feedback from friends and family. And it's like, dude, the concept is cool. Like, I love it. But then, of course, they're friend and family. So they're going to have a bias. Yeah. So this event, WealthCon, when we had whole traffic, was the one I'm like, you know what? Again, going back to, I'm going to give this a chance and then see what happens from it. That event was the one that really opened my eyes to like, there's something here, because we literally had dads not only supporting and buying the hats, but like literally sharing what it's been like for them to be a dad, and how tough it's been to be a good dad, and providing literally dads, grown men breaking down, crying, like in joy sometimes, in desperation sometimes. And I saw from that event, like, okay, I need to really like focus on this. And at the time I had recently started the roofing company. So I'm like, I was torn. It was like towards the end of last year. And I was torn, like, which one am I going to do? I'm like, I'm going to do them both until one of them tells me that one of them is pulling me more. And then that's kind of how where Dad Built got created. And to this day, like now, obviously we've gone like viral and all these different videos where we're honoring dad and doing what we said we would do. But we have now dads in the DMs that literally suicidal thoughts. I've had to send them to like get help and talk to someone because they're literally suicidal. There's dads that they're like, you don't understand how much I needed this. And, just ministering to them in the DMs. And now the reason why it was easy to let go of the roofing company and focus on Dad Built is like, I find fulfillment in it. Like, I'm literally not getting paid for Dad Built currently. Everything's being reinvested into inventory and all these things. But I find true joy and passion and fulfillment in doing it. And I know that eventually the money will come, but that's kind of how it all started, where we're at right now, with that.
Yeah. You guys know I love the game of golf, and that is why I started M19. It is a golf mastermind for entrepreneurs who are doing over 7 figures in their business and who want to go on bucket list golf trips together. We already have hundreds of members all across the country, and we've been to some of the best courses in the world, places like Pebble Beach, Pinehurst, Bandon Dunes, and many others. The course is the best place to do deals, make great relationships, and have fun. So go to mastermind19.com today. So I think it's great, obviously. And I think it's a huge need with dads and father figures. I mean, right now, literally, we have one of our tent makers events going on in the office while we're doing this podcast. I got to speak right after. But, I talk about the importance of men leading and dads. And, for me, I know both of you guys grew up without a dad. Well, I guess you guys are brothers. So it's that makes sense. Yeah. But my dad was there for me. He still is to this day. And he's just like the best dad ever. And, I think about how gracious grateful I am that I grew up with a dad who supported me and loved me and told me I could do anything and showed up to all my baseball games and all these things. And it's like, why do I have the confidence that I could do anything? Because of how I was raised. I wasn't raised in scarcity and not having an example and all these things. And it's like, man, we got to figure out how to get more men and dads to step up.
Right.
Because, for every successful guy who didn't have a dad, there's 86%
exactly
who don't.
100%. We're the anomaly.
Yeah.
In essence. For sure. And it's crazy because also when these videos that we've been posting honoring dads in the wild, like in that moment we see them showing up, but they may or may not be good dads at home.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's something that I don't know. And to me, I just want, even if they're not good dads, but they're in that moment doing the thing that a dad should be doing and they're receiving acknowledgement for that.
Yeah. They could transform them.
100%.
Yeah.
And you see it in the comments. People's like, you don't know how much you changed that person's life by just simply acknowledging them in that moment. And dads that, like I said, dads that maybe not showing up, even themselves that are not showing up in a way that they feel like they can, that's going to encourage any of them to do it. So literally millions of dads have been encouraged by that movement. And then again, the hats just become that reminder, that the thing that you wear and you're like, okay, I respond to that call of being Dad Built.
For those who are wondering what Ivan's talking about, if you go to the Instagram, dadbuilt.co, We'll link to it down below. That's also the website, dadbuild.co. You got a video with 17 million views, one with 6 million views.
Dang.
And then like hundreds of thousands of views and all these things. And maybe we'll play one right now. They can cut to it of what you're doing, but you're basically doing these videos where you're just giving hats to these dads out in just the malls and the parks and all this stuff. And you're just kind of giving them an encouraging word about, like you see what they're doing. They're with their kids, they're present.
Yeah.
And then you give them a hat with a little note in it.
Yeah.
And,
Handwritten note.
Yeah.
And it's funny because before all of that started, because this is one of those things where like God gave me this idea. And when we first started the hat brand at that time, it was more so like, how do we get it to as many eyeballs as possible? And my initial instinct was just to run ads.
Yeah.
And talk about the product.
Yeah.
And talk about how we are a premium quality, waterproof, better quality than any other dad hat out there. And still is, but it flopped. Like the ads weren't converting and all of that. And then I was running, I burned through, like going back to me going all in, I burned through maybe 5K of ad spend or 7K, whatever it was.
Didn't do anything.
And it didn't do anything. I was in the hole. And
Yeah.
like I told the media buyer that I had hired, I'm like, dude, I just need to go back to organic and just focus on that. And then it was full circle because God had already showed me how to do it. And which is what we're doing now, which is just honoring dads in real life and encouraging them and let the rest do its thing. And then when I reverted back to that, literally, I was with you in Kiowa Island. We went golfing when the first video popped off. You remember? I
didn't know that it happened while we were there.
Yeah, I was like, dude, this video's
I remember you saying like, this video's doing good.
This video's correct. That was the very first one that we posted in that format, doing the thing that God had told me to do. It's, in disobedience, I guess, in a moment of not following the path that I felt I should follow. And dude, it just took off. And now we've
Did you do it in Kiowa Island?
No.
Oh,
we
okay.
posted it and it was just catching traffic or traction while we were in Kiowa Island. And now we're at Hat 38. Our mission is to do 365 moments of encouragement. But that's not just for me or the company to do. Like the goal is for, which a lot of people have hopped on, but not enough, at least shown it. But the idea is that, you can go and honor your dad.
Yeah.
And honor him how we do it and give him your own words. It doesn't have to be scripted, natural, normal. And then the idea is that once you share that and you tag us, we'll amplify that moment. And then maybe another dad that was similar situation than you can get encouraged by that and just literally amplify it. Because we're only on Hat 38 because it's mostly been us. But if we're able to lock arm on the mission and then other people are able to gift a hat and honor that dad, like we can get 365 in a month if we,
right.
Because people are buying the hats.
Yeah.
Like it's just whether or not they're tagging us or it's whether or not they're keeping it or if they're a lot of them are gifting it because we have a section for people to write a note to give it to the person, which is amazing. And we write our own notes to the people that order. But if they don't post it, we can't count it towards the mission.
Yeah.
And that's what amplifies it because we're able to reshare and take advantage of social media to do that and shed that light in that dark, vein of what it is to be a dad.
Yeah. So obviously I know what we're now doing, but for the viewers, obviously you launched it 6 months ago, WealthCon, you're figuring things out. The organic's been popping off, millions and millions of views. And now we're going to go do it together. Yeah. So walk me through, I'll tell you what I saw, but walk me through from your point of view.
The partnership?
Yeah.
So from my point of view is like, I kind of ironed out or figured out how to, I guess, create exposure, build the momentum, continue on the mission. Like we had the mission. It was just a matter of volume, right? Like for me, it's like we already have the product is obviously we're always going to improve upon it. All those things, but like the mission, the main things, the brand, the voice behind the mission, the momentum was there. And it's how do we now amplify this and be good stewards of this? Because in business and in any movement, like you have to capitalize on the moment because it can come and go.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was like, well, originally you're the one that kind of like planted the seed. It's like jokingly one time you said, maybe we need a partner on this.
Yeah.
And this was months ago. And I was like, haha, and then kind of brushed it off. And then by that time, we had a couple videos, but not as many, like go off. And the following, we have I think we have almost 200,000 followers on Facebook.
Oh, you do?
Facebook is a sleeper.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't even seen the Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, a lot of our sales even come from there. And the people that lock arms with us are from Facebook. So shout out to the Facebook followers. But, from that point of view, it's like, okay, we already have all this. Like, how do I amplify it in a way where we can add more wood to the fire, and at the same time I can focus on the thing that I know is moving the needle that I enjoy doing? Because I was the one in there, well, technically still to this day, I'm the one changing things on the website, optimizing the ads, and doing all of these things that I don't necessarily like to do, but I know I have to do. And it's like in anything in business, sometimes you have to do it for a certain period of time in order to make it work out. So when you planted that seed in my mind, it always came back. And I'm like, dude, we're heading into Father's Day in a couple of months. And I kind of revisited. I'm like, dude, are you still, because you have 1,000,001 opportunities thrown at you every single day, probably. And I'm like, obviously I don't want to force this. And I don't want it to be something where it's like, we're really close friends. And I don't want it to be something where it's like, you're just doing it because, and I know that you're not like that anyways, but it just made a ton of sense to partner with someone like you, because you already ironed out the business side of it that I don't fully understand yet, and I don't really want to learn.
He's like, I don't want to understand it.
Yeah,
I just want the content.
Dude, it's so hard. Like,
I want to gift hats and shit.
Yeah, like our conversion for our website, like our website still is trash, but
not after this episode.
Not after this episode, it'll be good. But I still, on my own, not knowing anything, it was me, ChatGPT, Manus, every AI that you could think of. We brought it from like a conversion rate of 0.34%. For those that know e-com, that's very bad. And I brought it up to a consistent 1%, a little bit above 1%. I was like happy about it. But it's still,
which is still bad.
So much room for improvement. Like we should be at a 3% at least.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to deal with it. I know that I could do it, and I know that anything that I put my mind to, I can achieve it.
Yeah.
But why wait? Like for me, it's like I'd rather just have someone else. I'm finding fulfillment in it. I don't need a ton from it. Like personally, I really just want to bless other people and really like create a dent in our generation where more dads step up. And I think honestly, our generation that grew up without our dads, we become better dads because we wanted. Since at least for me, I'll speak for myself. I'm like, I know I'm gonna be a better dad than my dad was to me.
Yeah, for sure. So from my point of view, so obviously we're partners now in Dad Built. And it's funny because I just kind of think back to how God always does everything on perfect timing. And then how like when I've tried to force timing and stuff, it always fails. And, I was thinking back, we met. I literally saw your name yesterday, actually. I was pulling up everyone that ever did golf with Ryan over the last 5+ years.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm going to pull this list because these people should all be in M19. Like, let's just see who's
low hanging fruit.
Yeah. I'm like, they did it before it was a thing. And so I looked it up and I was shocked at how many people in there were like the best people. Like Steve Kwan was there. You were there. There's a bunch of other people. And I was like, wow, that was like the thing that got them into this world. And then, so like the very first thing we did was golf together.
Yeah.
And, we talked about stuff and faith. And at the time you were doing Airbnb and trying to get your personal brand dialed in and the coaching stuff. And then, I don't know, it might've been a year later that we partnered up on the coaching stuff. Cause I'm like, well, we have all these students who want to learn Airbnb. You're doing it really well. Let's launch that. And so we did that for a period of time. And then, since then, right? Like, you've always just come out and we've just done different things together, whether it's golf or, ministry and all that good stuff. And then, I've always given you feedback on just all the different ideas. I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I don't know much about roofing. I keep having these roofers and people on. I can tell you what they tell me, but I know wholesaling. And so if you were going to wholesale, here's what you need to do. If you're going to do content, here's what you need to do. And, with the Dad Built thing, back at WealthCon, I was just like, yeah, dude, get a booth, whatever. Like, I think it's great. We'll see what happens, we'll see. And, the reception was great. And then, you told me about it a few months ago at Kiowa and, it hadn't started popping off until then. And I'm like, huh. That's crazy. You've kind of like cracked a viral thing. Like, that's cool. And then, you know, sales and everything start trickling in and all that. And then, you know, we were just talking about something and I was like, all right, this is like getting pretty serious, dude. Like, you know, and I don't think your Airbnbs had left yet. I think you still had them, but I was like, I think it could be better than your Airbnbs. The upside is infinite. Your Airbnbs are capped.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the hard parts about real estate that I tell people. It's like, you're capped by the deals. Like a piece of real estate, man, it's hard to get just one and then two and then three. It's like,
it's more scalable.
Yeah. Like you could sell 10,000 hats tomorrow if you had enough, you know, traffic, right? And your conversions and everything were perfect. But, you know, I looked at it and the mission, obviously, and the brand, and I genuinely like the designs and, you know, all that stuff. I love the Kingsman hat. That one's dope. But, you know, I was like, okay, Ivan, I don't think you understand like what's about to happen. Because if you get all this traffic, you know, here's already what's your problem. Your website sucks. You don't have enough inventory to even handle the traffic. You're going to need money for ads. You're going to need to go put in your designs now because it's going to take 60 days for them to get here. Like, this is actually what you need if you're going to do this and take it serious. And unless you're willing to pay these people, fund this inventory, this thing, then it's just going to be like a trickle.
Right.
You know? And that's kind of when I thought about it and I was like, you know, I kind of have all those things right now. Like, it's not, we could fix the website right now. We could run the ads right now. We could fund the stuff right now. Like, it's just, you know, does it make sense? You know, from both perspectives of your time, my time, the team's time, you know, everything. And then I think, as we just both talked about, it's like, yeah, let's just rip.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was mostly a time thing. It's like, I could do it on my own and it would just take me 5-10 times longer.
Yeah.
Or I could just,
and might miss the moment.
Or we could just capitalize it on it right now. And while we have the momentum and all of that and make it happen. So it was an easy decision. Obviously we're both negotiators. So we had to go back and forth a bit, but I'm glad of the place that we landed though.
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic of what's to come. Yeah.
Now we just got to get Brian wearing a hat every episode.
That's it for sure.
We need to give my dad a hat.
There you go.
I'll go buy one and send it to him.
There you go. You can write a note in it.
Where does your dad live?
I don't know.
So you don't know where he's going to send it?
He's in Florida somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
How often do you talk to him?
It's weird to think about. I don't know if you ever thought about this or if you've ever thought about this, but a lot of people talking about not having a dad growing up, right? But no one talks about not having a dad as an adult.
That's true.
Have you ever thought about that? I think people that have dads take it for granted.
Yeah.
It's like having a mom.
Right.
It's like you don't have someone that's unbiased, a man with experience that's like,
yeah, I haven't thought about it because I technically still, my dad is not, my biological dad at least, is not my life.
Yeah.
Still. So it's almost like.
Were you raised by a stepdad?
Yeah.
Okay.
My
Do you
stepdad,
talk
my
to him?
grandparents. Yeah.
Okay,
Still
so you
married
kind
to
of
him.
had a dad.
Yeah.
Got it.
But you know, it's one of those things where you don't miss what you didn't have type of thing.
Yeah.
But so I don't give it much thought, but I could see how that could be a thing. Where it's like, even as a grown up, you want to be able to have someone you can bounce things off of.
Yeah.
Do you even know where he is or anything?
Yeah. He's in Dominican Republic somewhere.
Got it.
Does he know you exist?
Yeah. Yeah. He does. He probably sees me online.
Yeah.
Like,
Have you sent him a hat?
no, I don't even know where to send it to him. But
we don't ship international yet.
We don't ship international yet. We hope, dude, we have people from the UK, Australia. Shout out to all of you that have been like, make sure you send them over here. Like, we can't yet. We have to log
the
in.
hat will be $500 to get
Literally.
over there.
We just opened up to Canada.
$1,000 hat.
We opened up to Canada and it's expensive, man. They have to pay for duties. And I feel so bad. I honestly didn't even want to do it because I knew how expensive it would be for them.
Yeah.
But shout out to the people of Canada. They're still buying it and paying their duties and their taxes. And
They're used to getting taxed.
The tariffs.
They're paying like 40% above what our cost is just to be able to rep it. So shout out to them. Because I don't know.
They could just come to a Vegas event
and just do it.
And we'll get them.
Yeah, we'll get a booth or something here
too.
But yeah, from a dad's perspective.
You don't, but you know where your dad is.
I know where he lives.
Did you ever have any relationship at all?
No. So I met him when I was like 15.
Oh, you never even met him till 15?
No.
Oh, wow.
No.
Have you ever met yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in my life like very, very early stages, and then on and off, and divorced, and then legal system and all that here, and well, in Miami. But yeah, it was tough. But I was young when the really tough things happened. I was young enough to where I don't remember. My brother does, which is, you know, different for him because he was a little bit older and he remembers a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was in my life. And I'm gonna say the memories that I had weren't negative moments. It's just that for whatever the reasons, you know, it just didn't work out. And I extended an olive branch when I was in my teens living in Miami, and it just wasn't, you know, responded to.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm not like, it's not like I need you in my life. I've done so much already.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have any resentment or ill will. Like, I hope.
Do you think that either of you, like, subconsciously, because they say this about, you know, it's like it has this like chip on your shoulder, or this like you just feel like you're always trying to prove your worthiness since you never got it?
I would say I definitely had a chip on my shoulder, but not to feel like I'm worthy of anything. Just like having to.
Well, I want to prove my dad wrong. Like, he didn't think I was.
I think I had those thoughts when I was like a child, but not anymore. But as a child, like, I remember one birthday, I was like talking to my grandma. I was like, why doesn't my dad even call? Like, I don't get it. Like, I literally just, I was like 10 or something like that. And I was like, I don't understand why he wouldn't even call on my birthday.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even that hard. Like, I just didn't get it. And then he ended up calling me after I spoke to her.
Yeah.
But then I was just like, what the heck, bro?
Oh, because
like,
you feel like maybe she told him.
Well, she did tell him.
tell him.
Yeah, she did tell him. And I was just like, it was just so weird. And I was thinking, so I have a 15-year-old now, and I was going through his school stuff, and then he went to a dance, and I picked him up, and I was like, you guys better not have been drinking. Like, let me smell your breath. So he breathed in my face, and I was like, okay, you're good. Like, everything's cool. And then I was like, dude, I never even had someone do that with me.
Right.
I never had
You
someone
also
like
dropped out when you were
exactly because no one
doing drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but just like basic little crap like that, where you're like, I need to worry about my dad being home. Like, I have to like be here or like not do a dumb thing
because I'm about to get whooped.
Yeah, because I'm about to get whooped, or he's just
accountability
there.
is everything for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, for me, I see it a little bit different. It's like, man, if he's not like, I never had any resentment towards, like, I never questioned. I didn't have a chip on my shoulder from the standpoint of wanting to prove my dad wrong or anything like that. I didn't care. It was more so just I wanted to set a new standard for my lineage. Like, there was a point where I literally wanted to change my last name.
Wow.
To my stepdad's last name.
Oh.
And then actually I had recently gotten saved when I started to get these thoughts. And then the Lord legit told me, like, not audibly, but like told me, is like, no, you're just gonna change what that name means to you. You're not gonna change that name. Because for me, like, my last name had a negative connotation, not necessarily only because of my dad, but like that side of the family, there was trouble and you know, drugs and all these different things, and I didn't want part of it. But in that moment, I felt convicted. It's like, no, you're just gonna change what that means to you.
That's crazy.
But based on what you were saying, I think for me, how I see it is like, maybe they were going through their own demons, their own things, where they didn't even remember that it was your birthday because maybe they were freaking doing things that they shouldn't. God knows, like, what they were going through.
And my dad did drugs too.
There you go. So he was probably high or something in that moment. He couldn't even remember, like, he was going through his own stuff. So I have empathy for that. But still, it's not an excuse, like, for us to step up as dads. Like, you need to get your life in order. Like, you have dominion over that.
The first time I went to my dad's house, I was like 15. And he was just chilling in the living room. And then he went into the room, and then it started smelling like weed. And I was like, is this fool smoking
How old
weed?
were you?
I was 15.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I was like, is this fool? And I already smoked weed. So I was like, what? And then I was like, does he smoke weed to like my siblings? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, no, he smokes weed for sure. He's like smoking weed in the room.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't, like now, I'm not mad or anything, but just like back in the day, I was like, I just didn't get it. I was like, how do you not like try?
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. It's like a weird thing. And it also affects, a lot of people don't talk about this, but it also affects the way your relationship is with God.
100%.
Because God the Father, you're like, oh, this fool doesn't really, you know, I should say full. Like if you have a bad relationship with your dad,
Yeah.
you're probably like, oh, this God probably doesn't really care about me like my dad. He's like this far away figure that's like in his own world. I'm just like this like created thing that's like not worthy of attention.
Creates a distance for sure.
Exactly. And a lot of people have actually told me about that. And I was like, dang, like I didn't even realize that until
that goes to show, like, yet again, like the importance of a father, because if you don't have a father figure in your life, you also like tie that back to God the Father.
Yep.
And there's a correlation there. Like you should be a resemblance of who God the Father is here on earth.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have the power as dads to resemble that, whether in a good or a bad way. Like the relationship that my kids have with God also depends on my actions. That's crazy responsibility. And not everybody is willing to step up to that. And I get it. It's not an easy thing. Like it goes beyond just, you know, having sex and making this baby. Like it's a responsibility to be a dad. It's not something to be taken lightly.
Yeah.
Because all of these things come with it.
Yeah. I was thinking too, like, even those who grew up with dad, like, okay, so if you grow up with a dad, it's already a 0, right? And then you have people who grew up with a dad, but just a crappy dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, my dad was there, but he was never there.
Yeah.
He was working too much. He was never around. He wasn't present. Or my dad beat the crap out of me.
Yeah,
my dad didn't love me.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like, I don't even know which one might be worse. Like,
That one's probably worse, honestly.
yeah.
Maybe
them not being around at least is like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Imagine your dad was around and you just watched him do drugs.
Yeah.
And all these things all the time.
that would have been a whole other slew of,
Like the amount of good dads, like my dad, like all of us here now,
Yeah.
is like,
you're an exception.
it's very small.
100%.
What did your dad do that made him a good dad? Why was your dad a good dad?
I think he did the opposite of everything you guys just described. Like,
So he doesn't smoke weed?
yeah, it was weird. He was there. Like, he stood there.
He did his smoke.
Yeah.
He was saying he could do it.
He said, I love you. Held me accountable.
Dude.
Like, what?
Yeah. Dude, that's a blessing, bro. That's a blessing.
But it's also too, like, I think men just don't know, if they didn't grow up with a father, how to be a good father.
I'll say the other thing. Okay, so I picked up on things later in life that I realized my dad did that, you know, you don't know when you're a kid, right?
Yeah.
So like I would watch, like every morning my dad took me to school and he made sure to get me an Egg McMuffin from McDonald's. I ate an Egg McMuffin every day. I don't know how great this was, but
You got the protein.
for about 5 years straight, I ate an Egg McMuffin
That was
every day.
before all the chemicals and stuff.
Probably.
Yeah,
That's probably
it was real.
Whole sausage for sure.
It was a
Organic.
beef sausage. But like, you know, like I think back to those moments. I'm like, wow, you know, every morning my dad talked to me and we had this thing and we would each get an Egg McMuffin. I would get a sausage McMuffin. He'd get an Egg McMuffin. And then he would give me the ham off of his Egg McMuffin so I could have like a super McMuffin.
Okay.
That's crazy.
And so I had a sausage, you know, ham, egg, you know, whatever. And I'm like, I think back to like little things like that. And I realized I'm like, oh yeah, my dad literally gave me anything. He would give me the shirt off his back. If he had to choose between me and something else, it was going to be me. Like literally the most selfless person that you could imagine.
Beautiful.
And so, you know, I think about that. And then I think about how he treated my mom. And, you know, growing up, my mom was great too. But, you know, like we grew up with gambling problems. And so pretty much everyone on my mom's side of the family had gambling problems. And so like, yeah, I never told you this.
No.
Yeah. So like, without getting too deep into it, like it's bad. And so that was something that, you know, when the recession hit and everything, like gambling made us lose everything.
Dang.
So they lost their businesses, lost our house we grew up in, got foreclosed on.
From
It's all-
gambling?
Everything. Yeah.
Wow.
What the heck?
Yeah. So that happened in 2010. And this is when I became an adult at 21, you know, and I watched my dad never get mad, never, you know, like he just dealt with it,
Yeah.
you know?
You never saw them argue?
No,
That's crazy.
he's just, and if they did, they didn't do
Behind
it
closed door.
in front of me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But it would have been easy to be like,
In that moment.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
100%.
That's crazy.
Like significant amounts of money.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So, you know, there's that. And obviously he's not, no one's perfect.
Right.
Right. But like, I think back to, I'm like, oh bro, how would I react if Mindy's over
You
here
lost the house.
gambling,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right.
You know? Or, you know, just other things, right? So anyways, like it's things like that that I picked up on. And then things like now I took for granted back then. So, you know, they lost everything during college when I was in school, you know, from 2008, when the recession hit, I was a freshman in college. And so, you know, I'm playing my 3 years trying to make it in baseball. They came to every single game from Vegas to Cali.
Damn.
And no money, just figured out how to make it and, you know, go watch me every weekend. And like at the time, I just never, I'm like, yeah, whatever. My parents come.
That's what parents do.
But nobody else's parents do that.
Damn.
And I didn't know what they were going through financially. I didn't know that we were in the Great Recession, you know? And I think about that and I'm like, wow, you know, what sacrifice, you know, to do that. And then it's just all these other things too. Like I said, with baseball and everything else, it was always, you could do it. What do you need? How can we support you? You want this coach? You want this bat? You need this workout stuff? Whatever. We'll find a way to get you what you need to be successful.
Crazy.
Now, granted, like it was a two-way street. Like I actually would get the things that I need and go produce and thrive.
Yeah.
Versus like other kids may
Scramble.
give me this. And it's like, bro, you ain't doing nothing with that.
Yeah.
This bat ain't going to fix your swing, buddy. It's like when I tell you guys with new golf clubs, I'm like, guys,
Literally. Stop investing.
it ain't gonna
Save your money.
Yeah.
save your money. Save your money, save your time. You don't need a membership.
How much?
Hey, I hope you're enjoying this episode, but how would you like to be the one that I'm interviewing on this show? I'm looking for entrepreneurs who've got a great message to share, who have an inspiring story, and who can add value to the audience. So submit by going to wealthyway.com.
How much of your success would you attribute then to all of that your parents?
All of it.
Yeah. I was
Like,
going to say, because you have you're
You're
willing to
even
take
killed.
risks.
This dude is like,
But think about like how much risk he's willing to take.
Yeah.
And he probably got that from his mom.
and then when things are a crap show,
Yeah.
and like you should be pissed and like pacing back and forth, like this dude is like hanging out with his kids.
Yeah.
You know that you got that from your dad.
Yeah.
So like it's the perfect dynamic here. Is like, dude, this is what happens when your parents are in the child's life,
Yeah.
and you're like the poster child, for lack of better words,
Yeah,
as far
for
as
sure.
the fruit of that.
And I did it at one of our events where I did this presentation on my
Your
family
best one
lineage.
yet. I was there.
Yeah. And that was the only time I ever cried on stage. And it makes me tear up even thinking about it now. But just talking about, you know, what my dad did for me. And then like just tracing my family lineage, because the Bible talks so much about lineage. It's this very important deal, you know? In the Gospels, it starts off about Jesus's lineage.
Yeah.
From start to where he was at. And you're just like, huh, this is probably pretty important if we're tracing the lineage of Jesus, right? And, you know, I traced my family lineage and I watched both sides and it was like, you know, I come from a line of like 5 generations of Christians and 5 generations of athletes too. Like it's not an accident,
Right.
you know, like my great-grandfather was a water polo Olympian. My grandfather was in the NFL. My mom was a college D1 tennis player. I played pro baseball.
Yeah.
These kids screw up, you know, like,
Yeah.
but like to me, it's inevitable
Right.
that they're going to grow up. They are growing up in a Christian home with acumen to play sports, to do business. I could teach them anything and everything, and they will dominate
Right.
their
They'll have an upper
classmates or whoever else because of how they're raised.
Right.
Now, whether or not they want to do it's up to them. I can't make them do anything, but that's the power of lineage, and it's all led to this point.
Super.
And then I look at my dad, and it's funny because Filipinos have no athleticism. So,
It's like basketball player in middle school, basketball player in middle school.
you know, 5'6".
Yeah.
Filipino star.
Good dribble though. Yeah.
He's got really good handles.
Yeah. Right.
No, my dad shoots a basketball like this. Like, yeah. Seriously. Yeah, he literally shoots like that. I'm like, bro, no, not 1 ounce of athletic ability came from you. Hard work did though.
There we go.
We work hard.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know a ton about my Filipino side as far as like 5 generations deep. Like I asked him one time, he's like, I don't even know. Like, because his dad wasn't there for him.
Wow.
So his dad had 13 kids that we know of
Dang.
in the Philippines.
Wow.
And he, so my grandpa, who, I'll tell you a quick story. So my grandpa, he's in the Philippines. This dude's like a legit, like, gangster.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What the heck?
I got crazy family stuff. So gambling too. So actually I come from 2 lines of gambling.
Oh,
So-
wow.
which is why I gamble on the golf
Yeah, I
course.
was gonna say that's why I played blackjack
Gosh, I
and
freaking
poker and
love
all.
gambling too. I'm just a
So much sense.
yeah,
That's funny.
I'm just a responsible gambler.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, he came from the Philippines, and they would literally like fix sports racing and stuff like that. Because the
No way.
Philippines is so corrupt, dude. Like
Yeah.
everything is just whatever. So he's friends with all the politicians
Oh, wow.
and all this stuff. And he had like a hotel and a nightclub and all this crap. My dad would tell me stories. My dad lived in a nightclub.
Wow.
So like they had this hotel nightclub thing and a grocery store they owned.
That's why you moved to Vegas.
Yeah, for real. And my dad told me he would like he would take people like room service and food as like a 8-year-old, you
That's
know,
crazy.
and like just service the nightclub and stuff. And I'm like, I can't imagine growing up in that. And he said his dad only saw them 2 times a year. His dad was off in the Philippines doing whatever.
Yeah.
And he would come back twice a year, and they would go school shopping. And that was one time was for school shopping. Another time was for something else. And that was it. And so he was raised by literally maids, like the staff
What the heck?
at the hotel.
The mom wasn't around either?
So his parents got divorced, and then his mom moved to Vegas, left the Philippines, moved to Vegas, and then eventually everyone moved to Vegas.
Wow.
This was, you know, obviously over years.
Right.
But even my grandpa, everyone moved to Vegas. So my grandpa ended up losing it all,
Dang.
moves to Vegas. Then my dad came here when he was 17.
That's
Wow.
crazy, dude.
Yeah, so he didn't have
Why
anyone.
Vegas? Because of gambling?
I don't know.
Like,
Well, I mean, his mom picked Vegas.
Okay.
I don't know why his mom picked Vegas, but once she came here,
everybody else followed suit.
they
Yeah.
just kept coming. Like one sibling would leave,
Right.
another would leave, and then he
Yeah.
went here like his senior year in high school.
I wonder why people do move to Vegas. Because most of the people that are here came from somewhere else. It's like, I don't understand why, but you got to speak.
They've been trying to get me.
I do have to speak.
They've been trying to get me to move out here for a minute too.
Yeah, why did you move out to Vegas? Why are you about to move out to Vegas?
Yeah, why are you about to?
Partnerships, baby.
Yeah, why did you move to Vegas?
Well, I lived here before, so my mom
Oh, okay.
moved from Puerto Rico to Vegas.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I went to high school, middle school
wild.
out here.
Most people that are coming from like a Hispanic country or whatever, it's Miami. Usually they end up in Miami.
Yeah, yeah.
Miami, New York, obviously.
Well, no, it depends where. Like, if you're in the DR, you're going to Miami.
Yeah, but
That
Puerto
ain't-
Rico even.
Yeah, Puerto Rico, like
Yeah.
the East Coast things. But
Yeah,
if you're in Mexico, you're going to Cali or
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mexicans are everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
except up north.
Yeah. Except
They don't migrate that far.
Yeah.
The boy, Voice of Reason, he just went to Egypt. He was like, bro, there's Mexicans here. I was like, really? In Cairo? That's crazy.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Is he Mexican?
Yeah, he's Mexican. Yeah.
Okay. That's funny. All right. Hey, well, bro, I love it. I'm glad that we're partnered up on it. I'm excited to see where we can take this thing and go impact dads and share I think it's great that we got to share the stories of,
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
it doesn't matter how you started as a dad, whether it's like you guys and you didn't have a great father figure or my dad, we can all choose to change the generation.
Mhm.
Right.
Like there's no excuse for why we or anyone listening right now, even if you're estranged from your kids,
Yeah.
you can change or not even change, just choose to go and reconcile,
Right.
to
Yep.
say, I'm sorry. And whether they forgive you or not,
That's on
you can't control that.
Yeah.
But you can take that first step.
for
Yep.
sure. For sure. No, I appreciate
And that's
you
part of the
having-
mission.
Yeah, 100%. Even if you're doing a good job, it just, part of the mission of Dad Build is to continue down that path. And you're not only shaping that child's life, but the people around you too, and showing how, like, it's inspiring to hear people like you that had a dad that showed up, and it encourages me to do the same because I know the fruit of it. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, if my son can have your testimony, I've won,
Yeah.
right? So that's the goal for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, guys, dadbuilt.co, if you want to go support the mission and look sick doing it,
Mhm.
go there, get some hats.
So, dude, I know that you didn't get drafted by the NBA, I mean the MLB or anything like that, but since we're partners now, you got drafted to the Dad Built.
The Dad Built Army. Let's
We
go.
just got these in right now.
Dude, let's go.
So you got that. I think that was one of the ones that you said you wanted.
I like this one.
I had to tell because funny enough, the people that get ours fulfillment done, they're literally like 2 blocks away from here.
Yeah.
And yeah, just wanted to make sure that you had that. They're supposed to get here sooner, but this one's for you, my
Yep,
boy.
we got to get
Thank you,
Brian
bro.
Davila one.
Look at me.
So
dude.
every order comes with a word of encouragement in the flyer. Obviously, you can
Or
like
black.
put your own, but this one says how you love your family will echo longer than you'll ever know. So every hat purchased comes with that now. And this is another Kingsman version, which
Yep.
we may or may not discontinue.
Yeah.
This is for you too.
I like it.
Yeah.
There we go.
So just wanted to honor you with that. I'm excited for the partnership, and dude, we're gonna make this thing
We're going to change the world.
impact a lot of people. Yeah, for sure.
Let's go. Super excited. I just got my new Dad Built hats in the mail, and right now they're doing a special of buy 2, get 1 free. Right here, I've got the classic Dad Built hat. It's black and tan, beautiful. This is the Kingsman edition. I love the navy and tan. I'll be rocking this one with some jeans. And then over here, I've got the tan and cream Dad Built hat. I think this one's going to look really good out on the golf course. So if you want to take advantage of that special, click the link below right now. Go get your Dad Built hats. Hey, thanks for watching the last episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure you catch the next episode that's playing right now.